All right, so we're diving deep today
Okay.
into building trust in transgender romantic relationships.
Hmm.
And
Sounds good.
actually, our source material is a proposed podcast outline.
Oh, wow.
So kind of meta,
Is
right?
that a deep dive?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So if you're listening to this, you're probably trying to understand like
Yeah.
the unique challenges that these relationships face.
Absolutely.
And this outline really doesn't shy away from how complex it is.
I imagine.
Yeah, right off the bat, it
Uh,
highlights societal stigma and
Oh,
personal insecurities as like major hurdles.
yeah, makes sense.
In fact, it even mentions this study
Okay.
where 70% of transgender individuals said that they had experienced discrimination in romantic relationships.
Wow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a lot.
Yeah, that's a staggering statistic. And it really, I think, underscores why trust in these relationships can
Yeah.
be so different from other
Yeah.
relationships.
Right.
Imagine
Yeah.
trying to build intimacy when you've constantly been told you're not worthy of love or acceptance.
Right. Like, how do you even start?
Exactly. It takes immense strength to be vulnerable in that context.
Absolutely. I mean, you're already starting from this place of like hurt.
Exactly.
So then how do
Yeah.
you build on that? How does this outline even suggest couples can start to solidify that foundation?
Well, it really emphasizes open communication
Okay.
as like essential,
Makes sense.
but it goes beyond just talking.
Oh,
It
okay.
would suggest
Yeah.
actually creating a safe space
Right.
where each partner feels heard and validated.
So it's not just about like getting the words out. It's about like,
It's about the
Yeah.
feeling of safety and being heard.
totally.
One of the key takeaways is this idea of active listening,
Oh, interesting.
not just waiting for your turn to speak, but truly absorbing your partner's words and reflecting back their emotions.
So it's more than just like the words themselves.
Yeah, it's about empathy.
Yeah. It's like us saying, seek first to understand, then to be understood.
Exactly.
Okay. But how do you actually put that into practice?
Well, that's the question.
Yeah.
It talks about using affirming language.
Okay.
This means constantly reinforcing your partner's identity and experiences through your words and actions.
So like, what does that look like?
Can it be simple things?
Yeah.
Like using their correct pronouns, respecting their chosen name,
Got it.
and acknowledging their journey with sensitivity,
Yeah.
it can make a world of difference.
It's about constantly validating them,
Yeah, creating a constant flow of validation.
especially when they're facing a world that
Right, exactly.
often invalidates their very existence.
Absolutely, it's crucial.
Yeah, so it's like this microculture of acceptance
Yeah, I like that.
within the relationship itself
Yeah.
that can serve as a buffer
Mm-hmm.
against the negativity of the outside world.
I agree.
Which, speaking of negativity,
Right.
this outline definitely does not sugarcoat the impact of societal stigma
Of course not.
on these relationships.
Yeah, it's a huge factor.
Totally.
Absolutely. It acknowledges that those external pressures can seep into even the strongest bonds.
Right.
Creating those cracks in the foundation of trust.
Oh, for sure.
There's this really poignant anecdote about a trans woman whose partner initially supported her transition, but then started to waver when faced with backlash from their family.
Oh, wow.
It just highlights how crucial it is to have each other's backs,
Yeah,
not just within the relationship, but out in the world.
absolutely. So true support means
Yeah,
being a united front, especially when the world
especially then.
throws negativity your way.
Yes.
But what about when that negativity comes from within the relationship itself?
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah. How does the outline address internal challenges?
Well, it delves into the importance of redefining intimacy,
Okay.
acknowledging that it encompasses so much more than just the physical. It suggests focusing on emotional, intellectual, even spiritual connection,
Wow. So it's really expanding that definition.
expanding it. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's about sharing vulnerabilities, fears, and hopes,
Mm.
creating a space where both partners feel truly seen and understood beyond labels or societal expectations.
So intimacy in this context is like a constant process of discovery,
Yes.
learning, and adapting to each other's evolving
Absolutely.
needs and desires.
It is. It's a journey.
Yeah, totally.
And that adaptability is key.
Right.
The outline gives an example of a couple navigating changes in physical intimacy as one partner transitioned.
Okay.
They talked openly about their anxieties and explored new ways to connect, both physically and
Or
emotionally.
they were really proactive about it.
They were.
Yeah.
It wasn't always smooth sailing,
Sure.
but their willingness to communicate and adapt ultimately deepened their bond.
It's really interesting how facing those challenges head on can actually
Yeah,
make the relationship stronger.
I think so.
Yeah.
It can bring you closer. Yeah, it's a great illustration of how trust can actually become stronger
Yeah.
when couples face challenges head-on, with honesty and a commitment to growth.
That makes me think about long-term trust.
Uh,
It's not just about weathering those initial storms.
Right.
It's about creating a dynamic where trust can continue to deepen over time.
Absolutely.
What does this outline have to say about maintaining that kind of long-term trust?
It emphasizes the need for ongoing
Okay,
trust check-ins.
just
Yeah,
check-ins.
think of it like taking the pulse of your relationship.
Oh, okay.
Are there any areas where one or both partners are feeling insecure?
Got it.
Are there any unresolved conflicts that need to be addressed?
Makes sense.
It's about proactively tending to the relationship.
Right, so instead of being reactive, you're being proactive.
Exactly, not just waiting for things to fall apart before taking action.
So how do you actually implement these trust check-ins?
Well, one suggestion is to schedule regular conversations,
Okay.
specifically dedicated to discussing trust.
So you're making time for it.
You're making time for it.
Yeah.
Could be once a week, once a month, whatever works for the couple.
Okay.
During these conversations, they can share any doubts or anxieties they're experiencing,
Mhm.
as well as any positive experiences that reinforce their sense of trust.
So it's not just about airing grievances.
Right.
It's also about celebrating the things that are working well.
Exactly.
It's about creating a balanced dialogue where both partners feel comfortable expressing their needs and feelings.
That's the goal.
Yeah.
It's about creating that culture of open communication,
Right.
where vulnerability is not seen as a weakness,
Mm-hmm.
but as a strength.
I like that.
The outline even suggests using specific prompts to get the conversation flowing.
Oh, like what?
Like, what's one thing I did this week that made you feel loved and secure?
Oh, okay.
Or, is there anything I could do differently to better support you?
I love those prompts.
Yeah.
Because sometimes it's hard to know where to start,
Absolutely.
especially with sensitive topics.
It could be tough.
But it also seems like navigating societal stigma
Right.
can be a major factor in long-term trust,
For sure.
especially for transgender couples.
You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
The outline acknowledges that those external pressures can create a constant undercurrent of stress and anxiety.
Yeah, it's like facing a headwind
It is.
that never lets up.
Never lets up. Yeah.
So how can couples mitigate that impact?
Okay.
Does the outline offer any strategies for building resilience in the face of that societal negativity?
One key recommendation is to cultivate a strong support network
Okay.
outside the relationship.
Outside of the relationship. Okay.
This could include friends, family members, therapists, or support groups, specifically for transgender individuals and their loved ones.
So it's like building a fortress of trust,
Yeah. Like
not
that.
just within the relationship,
Mm,
but also extending outward to create that protective buffer.
exactly. And that buffer can provide a sense of validation and belonging, especially when facing rejection or misunderstanding from others.
Which unfortunately happens a lot.
It does.
Yeah,
It's a reminder that you're not alone in this journey.
for sure.
The outline highlights the power of connecting with others who share similar experiences.
So finding your tribe.
Finding your tribe, exactly.
Yeah.
Whether it's through online forums, social gatherings, or advocacy groups.
It's your chosen family.
Your chosen family, yeah.
The people who understand. Who,
Get it.
yeah.
And having that support network can empower couples to set boundaries with those who are not supportive of their relationship.
That's important.
It is.
Yeah.
This could involve limiting contact with certain family members or friends,
Right.
or choosing not to engage in conversations that are disrespectful or hurtful.
That takes courage.
It does,
'Cause you're-
especially when it involves family.
Yeah,
But sometimes self-preservation has to come first.
absolutely.
You have to protect your emotional well-being and the integrity of your relationship.
And the outline emphasizes that setting those boundaries is not about being unkind
Right.
or cutting people out of your life entirely.
It's not about that.
It's about creating healthy boundaries.
Healthy boundaries that allow you to maintain your sense of peace and security.
This is really making me appreciate the multifaceted nature of trust.
It is multifaceted.
It's not just about communication between partners.
Right.
It's also about navigating those external pressures, building a support network,
Yes.
and having the courage to set boundaries.
Absolutely. It's about creating a holistic environment where trust can thrive.
And that includes paying attention to the internal landscape of the relationship as well.
You're talking about intimacy.
Right.
I remember this outline brought up the concept of redefining intimacy,
Okay.
especially within the context of transgender relationships.
Right. So what does that look like in practice?
It involves recognizing that intimacy encompasses so much more than just the physical aspect.
Huh?
It's about emotional intimacy,
Mm,
intellectual intimacy,
got it.
even spiritual intimacy.
Wow.
It's about sharing your deepest self with your partner and feeling truly seen and understood.
It's those moments of deep connection where
Just
you
it.
feel completely safe and accepted for who you truly are.
I love that. But
Yeah,
without judgment or reservation.
exactly.
And for transgender couples, this often involves navigating changes in physical intimacy as one partner transitions.
That can be a sensitive
It
topic,
can.
and I imagine it requires a lot of communication and understanding.
Absolutely.
Does the outline provide any guidance on how couples can approach these conversations?
It emphasizes the importance of being honest and open about your fears, desires, and expectations.
Okay.
It also suggests seeking professional guidance from a therapist who specializes in transgender issues.
That's a great idea.
It can be really helpful.
Yeah.
Having a neutral third party can help facilitate those difficult conversations
Right.
and provide valuable insights and strategies.
And it's important to remember that there's no right or wrong way to navigate these changes.
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
Each couple will find their own path,
Right.
and what works for one may not work for another.
Exactly.
The key is to approach these conversations with compassion,
Hmm.
empathy, and a willingness to adapt and grow together.
This is really highlighting how crucial it is to approach intimacy with curiosity and a spirit of exploration,
Yes.
especially when facing unfamiliar territory.
Exactly. And to remember that intimacy is an ongoing journey, not a destination.
Right.
It requires constant attention,
Mm.
communication, and a willingness to adapt to each other's evolving needs and desires.
It's about creating a space where both partners feel safe to express their vulnerabilities,
Yes.
explore new possibilities, and deepen their connection on all levels.
And when you create that kind of space, trust becomes not just a foundation,
Yeah.
but a living, breathing force
Wow.
that nourishes the relationship from the inside out.
It's like tending a garden.
I love that analogy.
Yeah. Providing the right conditions for trust to blossom and flourish.
Beautiful.
Yeah, that is a beautiful analogy.
It is.
It really captures the ongoing effort and care that goes into cultivating trust.
Yeah.
And this deep dive has certainly shed light on
Mm.
the unique challenges and also the triumphs involved in
Sure.
building trust in transgender relationships.
For sure.
Looking back on this whole outline,
Yeah.
is there anything that particularly struck you?
You know what fascinates me is
Yeah.
how this outline kind of subtly reframes the narrative around trust.
Oh, interesting.
Instead of presenting it as this fragile thing
Right.
that can be easily broken,
Yeah.
it emphasizes its resilience and capacity for growth.
It's like the strong foundation.
It is. It's like it
Yeah.
can be built upon.
Yeah.
It highlights how trust can actually be strengthened through challenges
Okay.
when those challenges are met with open communication,
Right.
vulnerability,
Yeah.
and a commitment to working together.
So it's not about avoiding the challenges. It's about facing them head on.
Exactly.
Yeah, and I think that shift in perspective
Yeah.
is crucial,
It is.
especially given the societal stigma and discrimination
Of course.
that transgender individuals often face.
That's a constant battle.
Yeah,
So it's about empowering these couples to create a space
right.
where trust can flourish,
Yeah.
even in the face of external adversity.
So it's not just about surviving, it's about thriving,
Exactly.
creating a relationship where trust becomes a source of strength.
Yes, a source of strength and resilience.
And this outline reminds us that building that kind of trust isn't like a one-time achievement.
No,
It's a continuous journey.
it is.
It's about checking in with each other,
Absolutely.
adapting to those changes, and reaffirming your commitment
Yes.
through words and actions.
It's a process.
Yeah, it's like that saying, the only constant is change.
Right.
Relationships are constantly evolving,
Yeah.
and trust needs to evolve along with them.
It has to stay strong.
And that requires a willingness to kind of embrace the unknown, to navigate those changes with curiosity
Yeah.
and a spirit of adventure.
It's an adventure.
The outline shares this really inspiring story
Okay.
about a couple who had been together for years, and then one partner began to question their gender identity.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I'm eager to hear how their story unfolded.
Well, it wasn't easy.
I can imagine.
They faced a lot of uncertainty, fear,
Right.
even resistance from some family members.
Yeah, it's hard.
It is, but They committed to facing those challenges together
Okay.
with honesty and compassion.
That's so important.
It is.
Yeah.
They sought therapy,
Okay.
joined support groups,
Yeah.
and most importantly,
Yeah.
they kept talking to each other,
Right.
sharing their hopes and fears
Yeah.
every step of the way.
It sounds like they really embodied that spirit of teamwork,
They did.
approaching those challenges as a united front.
A united front, I like that.
Yeah.
And in doing so, they not only navigated a major life transition,
Right.
but they also deepened their connection and strengthened their trust in one another.
It's amazing how they turned a potential crisis
Mm-hmm.
into an opportunity for growth.
Yeah, for growth and transformation.
And I think that's the ultimate message
It is.
this outline offers.
Mm.
That building trust in any relationship,
Mhm.
especially one that navigates the complexities of gender identity,
Absolutely.
requires courage, vulnerability, and a deep commitment to showing up for each other,
Being there, yeah.
even when things get tough.
That's when it matters most.
It's a reminder that trust isn't about perfection
Right.
or avoiding challenges altogether.
It's not about that.
It's about facing those challenges head on.
Yes.
With open hearts and a willingness to learn and grow together.
Beautifully said.
And when you do that,
Mm-hmm.
the rewards are immeasurable.
They are.
You create a bond that can withstand the storms of life.
Yes.
And a love that deepens and flourishes over time.
It's beautiful.
This deep dive has truly given us so much to reflect on. As our listeners continue to explore this topic,
Mm-hmm.
what's one question they should keep in mind?
I would encourage them to ask themselves,
Okay.
how can I create a space in my own relationships
Okay.
where vulnerability is welcomed,
Mm-hmm.
authenticity is celebrated,
Right.
and trust becomes not just a foundation,
Yeah.
but a guiding principle?
That's a powerful question.
It is.
And one that invites us all to approach our relationships with intention,
Yeah.
curiosity, and a deep commitment to fostering trust.
And to remember that building trust is an ongoing process,
Yeah.
a journey that unfolds over time.
It doesn't happen overnight.
It doesn't.
Yeah.
It requires patience,
Mm,
compassion, and a willingness to embrace
right.
the beautiful messiness of human connection.
Thank you for taking us on this insightful deep dive.
It was my pleasure.
For those who want to explore this topic further,
Mhm.
we've included links to some valuable resources in the show notes.
Awesome.
Until next time,
Yes.
happy deep diving.
Happy deep diving.